If people have always called you an overthinker or told you that you are different, science says that is the number one sign of a genius level IQ. Do you want to find out if your brain is also operating at a genius level IQ? In just a few moments, you will know for sure. In the next 5 minutes, you are going to discover 6 psychological signs that researchers have linked to genius level intelligence. Signs that most people overlook or mistake for personality flaws. If even 3 of these apply to you, your brain may be operating at a level most people never reach. And sign number 6, do not skip it, because it changes everything you thought you knew about intelligence. Imagine a child sitting alone at recess, not because nobody likes him, but because his mind is moving too fast for the conversation around him. His teachers call him distracted. His parents call him difficult. But decades later, that same child is standing in a room full of the most brilliant minds on earth, and every single one of them says the exact same thing. I always felt like I did not belong. So the real question is, what if the things that made you feel out of place were never weaknesses at all? Sign number 1, you talk to yourself over and over again. Most people think it is strange, but a study published in Acta Psychologica proved that people who speak their thoughts out loud perform significantly better at solving complex problems. Your brain is not broken. It is thinking so fast that it needs an outlet. The tip? The next time you catch yourself working through a problem out loud, do not stop. That is your intelligence in live action. And do not miss the next point. Sign number 2, your space is messy in a very specific way. Researchers at the University of Minnesota discovered that people who work in cluttered environments consistently produce more creative and unconventional thinking than those who stay perfectly organized. Your mess is not laziness. It is a system your mind built without asking permission. Stop apologizing for the clutter and start noticing what it produces. This is a sign of a creative mind. Sign number 3, you cannot sleep when something is left unfinished. Highly intelligent people have a documented tendency to stay awake late, not out of habit, but because their brain refuses to shut down until every unresolved thought is closed. If your mind treats unsolved problems like an alarm that will not stop ringing, that is not insomnia. That is a high-performance processor running overnight maintenance. This, too, is a sign of a high IQ. Stay with me. The next points are even closer to your own experience. Sign number 4, you question things everyone else just accepts. Here is the truth most people are never told. Almost all of human progress in science, art, and philosophy began with a single person who refused to accept the obvious answer. If you have ever sat somewhere and thought, but why does it have to work this way? You are not being difficult. You are exactly the kind of mind the world has always needed most. That one instinct, more than any test score, is the true fingerprint of real intelligence. Sign number 5, you feel things deeply, almost more than you should. Polish psychologist Kazimierz Dabrowski identified what he called overexcitabilities in gifted individuals, an intense emotional, sensory, and intellectual connection to the world that ordinary people simply do not experience. If music pulls you into silence, or injustice keeps you awake at 3 in the morning, that sensitivity is not weakness. It is the cost of carrying an extraordinary mind. Sign number 6, your thoughts sometimes come true.
Sometimes a thought enters your mind, a feeling, a suspicion, or even a sense of upcoming good news, and it feels like nothing more than imagination. But then, days or weeks later, that exact thought becomes reality. And in that moment, you suddenly remember, I felt this before it happened. This is not coincidence. This is one of the most powerful signs of a high IQ mind, a brain that processes signals long before your conscious mind catches up. But here is what nobody tells you about all of this. Having these traits does not guarantee success, happiness, or recognition. In fact, many of the most gifted people in history spent their entire lives feeling like outsiders. Intelligence alone is not the gift. Knowing how to use it that is the real gift. The signs you just discovered are not flaws or strange habits. They are the architecture of a mind built for more than ordinary life allows. The question was never whether you were different. The question is whether you are finally ready to understand why. Now you know how this works, but there is a deeper layer most people never discover. One that explains why genius-level minds so often destroy themselves, and what the ones who survived did differently. If you know someone who is different from everyone else and has proven it, share their story in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel if you learned something from this video, because the next video will open even more closed doors of your mind, and you should definitely be there. I will meet you right there.